What's up, Foundation? What's up, YouTube? Y'all know them three claps stand for the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. With no further ado, let's get right to it. Man, we going back into the hood, man. Man, you got two partners, man, that run together, man, that run together every day. You know what I'm saying? And you know, one named Danger and one named Beast. They was inseparable, always was together. Always was together, man, you know. Came up in the same type of environment, same type of household. Uh, Beast was a year older than Danger. Danger come up in a pretty good family. You know what I'm saying? But he always took to the streets. For some reason, man, Danger always took to the streets. And by him taking to the streets and coming up in that environment, him and his homeboy Beast became road dogs. You know what I'm saying? Now, you know, it was a lot of their homies from the set, but for some reason, him and Beast clicked it off real good. They clicked it off real good. They was into everything, man. They was into everything. Always into everything. So I'm gonna tell you a story, man, that happened to him one day. Life-changing experiences, you know. That man, it was on a Wednesday. And the reason why I can give it to you in this way is because after the incident took place, talk to him about it. Story was out, talk to him about it. One thing that Danger and Beast loved to do, and that was home invasions. They was always on home invasions. Now they was into gang banging. They was into doing robberies, drive-bys, assaults, anything you name it, drug selling, anything you name it. They was into it. They was like two peas in a pod. But they family background was not like two peas in a pod. Danger's family was a lot different from B's family. B's family was just about that life from the beginning to the end. His mom's was in and out of prison, pops in and out of prison, aunties, uncles, cousins, everybody was up to some type of nefarious activity. Didn't think about nothing and no one but themselves. Church, none of that didn't matter to them. But now Danger's family was a little bit different, y'all. You know, even though Danger was in them streets doing just as much dirt and damage as Beast was doing, his mother was a God-fearing woman. His auntie was a God-fearing woman. And his mother would always talk to him all the time about, you know what I'm saying, changing his life, giving his life to God and doing something different. But now you got to understand, at that age back then, Danger didn't want to hear that. The streets had more of an influence on him than anything that his parents or mothers was talking about. The streets had him, y'all. And like I say, one of the things they used to love to do was home invasions. Beast had a hookup with a lot of people around LA, y'all. He had a lot of people around LA. And they would let him know different places, different high-rise places, you know what I'm saying, where people had a lot of money and did a lot of things and had a lot going on, you know. And they was good at circumventing security systems, getting past cameras and all that. Man, so one day, Beast came to Danger, and he was telling them they riding in the car. They just kicking it. They riding around, and so Beast started telling Danger about a lick he had. Man, this lick I got, man, is, you know, it's way up in them hills, man. So he like, man, what's going on with it? So that's what Danger asked him. He say, look, man, we supposed to run off with at least 100 racks. It's an old lady. She by herself, but she retired. He's like, how old is she, man? From what I understand, from what my source told me, she got to be at least about 89 years old. Like 89? He like, so she ain't got no, what about security? Like, man, you know we can get past security. She got dogs and stuff? No, she ain't got no dog stuff, man. We can go in there, boom, boom, we hit the 1-2-1-2, and we out of there. Hit the 1-2-1-2, and we out of there. He like, yeah. He like, that's the lick. We can do that. We can do that. What we gonna do with her? He like, man, we'll make that decision when we get there. You know how we get out. Cool. Now, the thing about it, now, when he said that, you know how we get down, they was known for unaliving victims. You know what I'm saying? Not leaving them in a whole different predicament than what they were when they showed up. You know what I'm saying? And neither one of them cared. Neither one of them really cared about that. You know, they was going to do it. Cool. So they knew not to tell nobody else. Let their homies know. Their homies used to always be at them like, man, take us with y'all on the lick. Man, let's go. Let me go with you on the lick. But they was solo dolo, just them two. Like, no, man, you know what I'm saying. But now when they would come back, if they, you know what I'm saying, they would break the homies off and do certain stuff. They was getting money, but they would look out for the homies. But they didn't want to take nobody else on the lick with them. It was just them. You know what I'm saying? They was the twins of destruction, y'all. Night came, they riding around. They got all the tools, you know what I'm saying? They got their gloves, they got their mask, you know what I'm saying? They got all their stuff they need. They got all the equipment that they use to circumvent security systems, gates, cameras. They got all their stuff. They got their guns, and they on their way. They going up there. Now, while they going up there, for some reason, before they was heading that way, Danger was feeling good. But as they were going, man, he started getting a weird feeling right in the pit of his stomach, right? You know what I'm saying? Right where his heart is, and where you would suspect a person's heart and stomach and all that, right there in the middle. He didn't know what it was. He just thought stomach was acting up. So he told Beast, he's like, man, my stomach feel funny. So Beast went to clown. Oh man, ain't nothing wrong with you, man. You just got to go take a dump. You should have took a dump before we headed this way. He like, man, I ain't got to take no dump. He said, I'm just got a weird feeling in my stomach. So they blowed past it, y'all. They got way up in them hills where them rich people live at. They was in an undercover bucket, you know what I'm saying? Something that if the police see them, they probably wouldn't stop them from a distance just because the car looked a certain type way. But now they didn't want to be seen, period, because now if the police drove past them and seen these two black faces, the police were going to stop them. And then that was going to be a whole different story. Neither one of them was about that going back to jail. So, it was going to be court right there in the streets. Yeah. They made it to the house that they was going to get to. They had the equipment. Boom. They hopped the fence. When they hopped the fence, they made it to a security box. They popped the security box open. They did they thug thistle on the box that knocked out the security system in case a window was broke or something like that, and it wasn't going to hit the alarm. They made it to the house that they was looking for. They were like, yeah, this it. Okay. They used the glass cutter. They cut the glass. They reached in. They going up in there. They waited a little bit. Nothing. No dogs, and they knew that a lot of times old ladies keep a little pet or a little dog with them because they lonely, They made it up in the house. So they creeping through the house with the flashlight. Beast turned his flashlight on. And no, excuse me, not Beast, but Danger, when he turned the flashlight on, Beast grabbed his hand like, turn that off in his ear. He like, man, I can't see. Like, listen. You got to realize if you got a flashlight, you going to project you're coming before we get there. They can see that light down the hallway or something. He said, we just got to creep real slow. So they creep real slow. They made it to the bedroom. When they made it to the bedroom, it was a lump in the bed. So when they went to the lump, they creeped up on the lump. It was an old gray-haired lady, man. She she's about 89, 90 years old, by herself. They tapped her. Beast tapped her. Tap, tap, tap. Beast tapped her. Tap, tap, tap. She opened her eyes up. He put his hand over her mouth. And she was like, oh. Beast told her, be quiet or I'm going to unalive you. So the old lady, she was so scared. She was so scared. Danger had a gun in his hand. Beast had a gun in his hand. So the old lady was like, okay. They got her up. They tied her up with gray electrician tape. They walked her to the living room. They put a piece of tape over her mouth, and from there, they start ransacking the house, running all through the house, running through the house, running through the house. So now they start gathering up all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? It was money in the house. It was money in the house, y'all. They was in the kitchen doing something. Danger had rolled up his mask. He wasn't tripping on it, but this is something he usually wouldn't do. But he rolled up his mask, whether it was hot or whatever was going on. He rolled up his mask. He going through the house. Boom. He's in the living room where the old lady is, and she can see him face to. She's looking at him face to face. Beast come through. He see the old lady looking right at Danger. And he tell Danger, like, Danger, man, what you doing? Why you roll it up? She done seen you. He like, oh man, it's hot, man. She ain't gonna, He be like, man, no, we don't do that. She has seen you. You know what I gotta do to her now. So at first, Danger was like, man, you ain't gotta do that. He like, yeah. He was like, yeah, that's what I gotta do. You know the rules. We don't leave witnesses if they see us. We don't leave witnesses if they see us. So, Danger didn't really want that to happen. Usually he didn't care. But it was like, okay. So he said, well, man, we might as well finish, ransacking the house, getting what all we gonna get so we can get up out of here. He like, all right. But now Danger went back down the hallway. He said, man, there's probably some in her drawers. Old, jewelry from, she probably got some jewelry from years and years ago. He said, well, go check. I'm gonna go check down here again. He like, okay. When Danger went into the old lady's room again, he started opening up drawers. And then from behind him, he heard a voice say, what gaineth the man to get riches and silver and gold, but lose his soul? He spun around with the gun. When he spun around with the gun, in the room he was in, he had the bed where the lady was, and you had a couch. Sitting on the couch was a guy in a white robe, just sitting there. So he knew when he came in here the first day they was in there, they've been in this house for 10 minutes. Wasn't nobody else in there. When they tied the lady up, they wrapped her up with the tape in this room. Wasn't nobody in there. Nobody. So he hollered, hey man, where you come from, man? Who are you, man? What's up? He drawed down on him, pointed gun at him. And he said to him again. He said, what gaineth the man to receive riches and silver and gold, but lose his soul? So the dude, so Danger like, man, you tripping, man. He said, man, he called Beast. He like, what's up? He like, man, what this dude? So when Beast run back there, he like, he draw down too. He said, man, where this fool come from? Who is this? He like, man, I don't know. He was in the room when I come in the room. He say, man, he probably was hiding in the closet when we came in. Tape him up. So he taped him up. Boom. He taped him up real good. When he taped him up, he said, man, look, come on. It's a pantry in the kitchen. He took him and threw him in the pantry. When he threw him in the pantry, he said, man, it's probably some stuff in that room that he was hiding in that closet. He said, probably in the closet. Let's go tear this closet up. He said, okay. That's what Danger said. Okay, come on, let's tear the closet up. Now, B spun around and he shot out back to the room. Right when Danger was turning around to Brett, the guy said, he started talking to him and he explained to him, he called him by his real name. And he told him, he said, this is not you. This is not the person you're supposed to be. And Danger told him, he said, you don't know me? How you know who I'm supposed to be? He said, man, I've been knowing you before you was born. I knew you before your mother knew you. I knew you before your mother and your father even knew each other. I know every I know every hair on the top of your head. I know your past, I know your now, I know your future. So Danger like, man, you tripping me. You don't know nothing about me, man. You woo, 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 woo. And the guy told him, he said, yes, I do. He said, I know your heart. And I know that what you're doing right now is not of you. This ain't what God wants you to do. This is not what God wants you to be. This is not what your mother been preaching to you all your life. And you know this is not what you want to do, and this is not what you want to be. For a few dollars, you would take a chance on spending your life, your eternity in hell? He said, or would you rather serve the Lord and one day have all the riches that you ever desired? He said, the Father has set a place for you in heaven. All you have to do is reach out. And Danger remembered when his mother would always tell him when he was a kid, man, just reach out to God, reach out to God, give your life to God, reach out to God. And all he kept hearing in his head was his mother's voice. And so he looked at the dude, he shook his head. He like, hey man, get out my head, man. You tripping. So boom, he closed the door back on the pantry. Now there's no in or out of this pantry except for this door. So now he ran to the room where Beast was going through the closet. He couldn't find nothing. Now Beast is mad. So Beast told him, he say, man, come on, let's get up out of here. We got enough. He say, so Danger asked him, what we gonna do with them? He say, you already know what we gonna do with them, homie. So he like, man, what? He like, man, come on, man. He say, man, sometimes you act slow. Let me show you how to do this. You know how we get out. Beast went back to the front room with his gun in his hand. And he drew down on the old lady. And he was about to unalive her. And when he finished with her, he was going to go to the pantry and do old boy. At the last second, Danger stood in front of her. He said, no, man, no. So Beast looked at me like, what you mean, no? What you tripping on, man? He said, we got to get up out. He said, man, no. He said, we can't do this. He said, what you mean we can't do it? He said, we can't do it. He said, man, you tripping, man. He said, no, we can't do it. Right. What Danger didn't realize right then and there, the spirit of Christ had set upon him. The Spirit of Christ had set upon him. All the things that his mother, that his aunties had been telling him had rose up in him. And he knew he couldn't do it no more. He knew this wasn't what it was about for him. And he told his homie, he said, no, man, we're not going to hurt her. So he like, man, you tripping. He say, man, I tell you what, I'm going to just go get old boy. Then I'll come back and do her. So Danger looking at him. He's like, yeah, all right. Well, you know what I'm saying? You're not finna hurt her. He waiting to hear a boom in the back, but there's no boom. He don't hear no sound, no boom. So then he hear Beast holler. He's like, hey, man, Danger, man, what you do, man? Where he at? You're like, what? He in the pantry. No, he ain't. What? Danger run to the pantry. There's nothing there. There's a ball of electrician tape on the ground where they had, wrapped the tape around his wrist and around his mouth and around his feet, around, his ankles. There's one strip on the ground. There's another circular strip right there that had went around his wrist. And there's another circular strip on the ground that had went around his ankles. But there's no sign of old boy. So Beast look, he say, man, why you let him out? He said, man, I ain't let nobody out. He said, man, you let this dude get away, man. This dude seen us, man, he gonna go to the police, man. Come on, man, you tripping. He said, man, I'm telling you, I did not let that dude out. We'd have heard it. I didn't let him out. He said, well, how'd he get out? He can't do it on his own. He's, man, I don't know how this dude got out, but he's gone. So Beast look, he said, hey man. He said, he ran back to the front to do old girl. Old girl sitting there. And he like, well, shoot, you gotta go. Danger told him, no, man, I'm telling you, he got in front of her to the point to where they was finna fight. Danger didn't even realize why he was doing this. He didn't even realize that his life was changing right then and there. He didn't know what was coming over him, but he knew that he was not gonna let his homeboy hurt this lady. Start hearing sirens off in the distance. Like, what? So Beast told me, he said, man, you tripping, man. I'm telling homies, man, about what you just did. You tripping. So he turned around and left. Boom. They left too. Danger left too. He just looked at the lady and he left too. They got in the car. They argued all the way back to the east side. Beast did not understand what Danger was tripping on, but Danger couldn't even really argue with him. He was going through some things. When he went home that night, all he kept hearing was what the man said. All he kept hearing was what his mother had said to him. And he got out of his bed and he got to his knees and he prayed for the first time in a long time. And he asked God, to forgive him. He asked God, to spare him and give him another chance. He told God, man, that the life he had been leading, he don't want to lead that life no more. That his life was changing. And he just felt like he was being hugged. He felt warm. He felt like angel wings was upon his back. And he heard a voice in his head that said, son, I know you. That's all he kept hearing was, son, I know you. Son, return to me. That was on a Wednesday. He didn't go to the park Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. Early Sunday morning, his mother was up getting ready for church. He hadn't been to church since he was a toddler, seems like. He got up out of his bed, he went to his mother, he told his mother, he said, Mom, I'm gonna go to church with you today. And his mother was like, boy, stop playing, you ain't going to no church. He said, Mom, I'm going to church with you today. So she said, you for real? He said, yeah, I want to go. He went with it. Him and his mother, they went to church together that day. When they entered the church, he felt that peace all of a sudden. He felt that peace. As he was sitting in the pews, people were singing. Everybody, the pastor said, could everybody stand? Everybody stood and they was clapping and singing. And he found himself kind of humming. And Danger kind of looked to the side and there was some chairs over there by the pool pit along the wall out the way. And when he looked, sitting in that chair was the same man that he had taped up and put in that pantry. And the man was looking at him. And he felt that the man was looking straight at his soul. And he couldn't believe it. They just locked eyes with each other. Everything else in the church became obsolete and quiet. And it was like him and that guy had their own relationship going on. And he just looked at him. And he heard in his head, he said, son, I know you well. Son, I know you well. And he turned around and tapped his mom to tell his mom to ask his mother, did she know who that man was? And when he said, Mama, who is that guy? And so his mother looked, she's like, what guy? Over there. And when he turned to point, wasn't nobody sitting in that chair no more, man. Wasn't nobody in that chair no more. Danger that day completely gave his life back to God. He signed up to be baptized. He completely gave his life back to God, y'all, because he knew where he was supposed to be. Amen. That was another village storyteller story. The same way I could tell about all that stuff that happened to me in prison and stuff. It's the same way I can put them same type stories together, but let you know the greatness of God in them this time, you know? In the meantime, between time, man, y'all tell the people you love them. And I'm Tony, man. And I represent Jesus. Amen. Uh, this is an addendum to the story. I just listened to it and now I know the background noise on the fish tank could be a little bit distracting. So what I'm gonna do from here on out, I'm gonna turn the fish tank off so you ain't gotta hear that fish tank noise no more, y'all. All right, thank you. Peace.